Hello. Well, thank you for coming along today. I'm thinking today about all the different kind of pipes that there are, how the tobacco reacts in the chamber and how it travels through the pipe, and what makes a really good pipe, what makes the pipe get the best out of your pipe tobacco. I'm enjoying this this estate Dunhill that I got. Dunhills are meant to be the best. But Dunhills reject a lot of pipes, or did back in the day. And other makes were branded, well, their reject pipes were branded with other manufacturers. And these pipes smoke remarkably well, but they might have a wee imperfection. Tiny little thing, maybe the grain doesn't quite look right. So these pipes weren't branded with Dunhill, but they were branded something else, but they were constructed exactly the same. So there's something about pipes that collectors like, that make, that the collector would say, oh, this is a lovely pipe because it's a such and such a make, but how does it smoke? How does it work? I was watching YouTube videos the other day, well, quite a while ago now, and I got reintroduced to the Falcon pipes, some of which I have down here. And over the years there's been many types of Dunhill pipe, I beg your pardon, Falcon pipe. And I started to think how a pipe works. Some holes come through right at the bottom of the bowl, and others come quite a way up. And I thought, is that a bad pipe or is that a good pipe? Because if the hole comes through the bottom of the bowl, you'll get all the tar and all the stuff coming up into your mouth. And if the hole comes up a little bit, then the tobacco at the bottom will help absorb all the tars and gunk that perhaps you didn't want. And maybe that's a better pipe. But the guy that invented these Falcon pipes, he developed a system. As you get your tobacco burning away, it comes through the hole in the bottom, condenses around this little lump here, I don't know whether you can see it or not, and then the tobacco goes up the hole here, and you can see that the little hole, I hope you can see, little hole is a little bit above the bottom of the bowl, so any of the gunk's left behind. In fact, there should be a little bit of maybe pipe cleaner or something there to absorb the muck. It helps keep it in place. So thinking about what makes a good pipe, this was certainly engineered by an engineer, so it wasn't made by a craftsman or a pipe maker, it was made by an engineer. And then you hear of all the different kinds of pipes, the different materials. There's olive wood, there's briar wood, which is by far the most common. There are metal pipes, which of course will burn your fingers if you decide to burn them. There's Meerschaum. Meerschaum is perhaps one of the best materials to make a pipe with, but it's maybe a bit brittle. And I got a couple of Meerschaum bowls for the Falcons. All the bowls are interchangeable. And then I've also got this Briar bowl with a Meerschaum liner. Because Meerschaum, being a natural material, it absorbs the gunk as it comes on its way to your mouth. And as it lives, as it goes through its years of use, the tars find their way through the Meerschaum, and apparently the Meerschaum bowl will develop over time a beautiful red beautiful ambery reddy kind of lovely thing that, that many pipe collectors are quite keen to have. So I started thinking, well, what is it that Meerschaum does to the tobacco that Briar doesn't? And I thought one of the ways that I can find out and tick that box is if I take a pipe, a Falcon pipe, and I pop the Meerschaum bowl onto it. And I don't tend to use that Meerschaum bowl with this pipe because I think it looks better in the bent one anyway. So we've got a chamber there, and we've got another wood Briar bowl here, which is around about the same size. And we'll take that Meerschaum bowl off that Falcon, pop the Meerschaum bowl on, the Briar bowl on, and wouldn't you know it, is this operator error? No. Well, let's try this one. There we go, that's the one that I practiced with before I started the video. Anyway, so we've got bowls that are roughly the same size, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each of these with some tobacco. I'm going to smoke them, and the Falcon should do its work by removing the condensation and the tars, and we should be able to have a look at the bottom of the bowl and see whether the Meerschaum pipe removes, the Meerschaum bowl, beg your pardon, removes more gunk than the Briar bowl. So this isn't a particularly scientific experiment, it's just my musings to find out whether it does make any difference, and it gives me a great excuse to smoke Presbyterian mixture, which is really quite nice. And I was introduced to it by the Havana gentlemen who have a YouTube channel. I've learned a lot from watching their videos. So that's going to be the plan. I'm going to sit down with a wee light refreshment in this kind of nice day, and I'll let you know how we get on. Well, looks as though we're heading to the end of the tobacco in this smoke. And well, you can see there's a light ash there, so we'll poke away the light ash. And we're getting down to the bowl. And one of the things that I like about the Falcon pipe is that, I don't know whether you can see there or not, that there really is very little left of the tobacco in the bottom of the bowl. So let's see what the experiment is. There's a little bit of liquid at the bottom of there that you can see. Doesn't smell the best, but you can see that there's some condensation and some tar in the bottom, and of course there's a little bit on the bottom of the bowl because I turned it upside down to get rid of it. And as I say, one of the things I really do like about the Falcon pipe is that there is no tobacco wasted at the end of your smoke. So that is part one of the experiment. Part two is going to be smoking the Meerschaum. As you can see. Well, it looks as though we're coming to the end of the Meerschaum smoke. I don't think there's much left in this. So let's do the old clearing out. come to the end of the smoke. Nice light ash in the bottom of that bowl, and it's come out completely clear. There's no ash or residue in the bottom of that pipe bowl. So for consistency, we'll turn it over and have a look inside. And there is absolutely no condensation or anything else in that pipe bowl, and nothing on the bottom of the bowl either. So the purpose of today's experiment was to see what the difference is between a Briar bowl and a Meerschaum bowl. There was condensation and a little bit of grot in the bottom of the Briar bowl in the chamber here, and absolutely none in the Meerschaum. So I think that does prove that the Meerschaum absorbs or creates a lot less condensation. One thing I did notice as well is when I was smoking, the bottom of the bowl here with the Meerschaum was a lot warmer than it was with the Briar. So that's been interesting for me, and it proves something that was kicking about in the back of my head with the experience that I have smoking the Meerschaum pipes that I've got and the Briar pipes. So all that's left for me to do now is to finish off the light refreshment that I've brought out. And dispose of the rest of the tobacco that's in the dunhill that I've got here. And the only way to do that is to change it into smoke. So when I was smoking the Meerschaum, I enjoyed the tobacco, the flavours were all still there, but it seemed fresher somehow. The taste was clearer. So many of the things to do with pipes and smoking it's in your head. It's like eating your Sunday dinner from posh china and silver cutlery rather than out the packet. The draw on this pipe is perfect. Feels nice. But then so did the Falcon. So I'll puff away at this for a while and I'll finish reading the book written by the granddaughter of the bloke whose company marketed the Falcon pipe. I've got another two metal pipes, a Waldorf and a Kirsten. And I do like the Kirsten. The Kirsten was marketed as the coolest smoke ever. I could maybe do another wee chat with some of the Kirsten pipes. But so often I keep coming back to this bowl, usually in one of the other stems. And one of the reasons for that is that I've got a number of bowls which you can change. And at the end of the day you can come to the Falcon pipe with a kettle full of water and put it in the kitchen sink with a bit of fairy liquid there, and all that pipe is perfectly clean. Whereas you wouldn't smoke a briar pipe for 3 or 4 days, one after the other. It's not meant to be good for the briar, but I think you get a bit of a funky taste from a pipe that smokes too heavily. So, I hope this has been as interesting to you as it certainly has been for me. It confirms a lot of what I thought about the Meerschaum bowls and Meerschaum pipes. So it's goodbye from me.